a flying dragon, it doesn't actually cause anything to occur in
It
reality.
does. If I think about a cup of coffee and I desire a cup of coffee, those are all in the mind. It causes me to reach for a cup of coffee and to drink it.
Okay, but you can desire a cup of coffee and get water instead, right? Like the causal power, so there's a chain of causation that's happening within you when you think of a thing and perform an action. Distinctly, when we're talking about Allah and comparing Him to the mind, when you have these eternal attributes, are they distinctive, as in, sorry, are they abstract, as in they have no causal power and they only
They do have causal power.
Awesome. So they're concrete because they exist in reality.
No, something
and they
can have
power.
causal power without being concrete.
Okay, so in your mind, they are abstract and have causal power. Is that what you're saying about the attributes of Allah?
You can have mental attributes that have causal power, yes.
So the attributes
like
are
my
equivalent.
thoughts, my will, my desire, that has impact on my body and how I behave and the choices that I make in a concrete way.
Okay, so you are... A moment, please. So, just to sum it up, in your understanding, Allah has these eternal number of attributes that are eternal like Him. They are distinct because they are not each other and they are not Him, but then they are abstract but have causal power. Is that correct?
Let's say yes.
Okay.
What are you getting from this?
Ultimately, that's the problem with the Sunni understanding of
Why?
God
Because I
as
said,
oneness.
imagine that I have these different attributes that are distinct from me,
But
and
are
imagine that I'm immortal. Does that mean that there's 1,000 or 1,000,000 different Daniels? No.
Not 1,000 different Daniels, but 1,000 different things that are like Daniel in that they are also eternal and immortal, and they're distinctive because they're not each other and they're not
So
Daniel.
there's not one Daniel. There's 1,000 things like Daniel.
There's one Daniel and 1,000 things like Daniel. Exactly.
That makes no sense. It's just me who, in this scenario, is immortal. So it's just me. One mind.
So
one mind, one will.
It's not just you. It's you and the things, and that is the logical problem. Sorry.
So this is
That's
you're begging the question because you're saying that they're things.
Yes, because
that's begging the question.
You admitted that they are abstract but have causal power and are not each other. So they can't
I didn't
be
say
allowed.
that that's a thing, like a concrete thing. I said that you can be an abstract and still have causal power.
Okay, well, you can't because in order for you to be concrete,
that's your claim.
If you're only abstract, you can't have any causal power. But just to say whatever you're surmising is the case, you now have one Daniel who has these attributes of eternality and immortality, and then you have 1,000 other things that are just like Daniel in that they also share these attributes that only Daniel should have. So therefore,
we'll say there's one Daniel.
There's one Daniel and also 1,000 other things that are like Daniel.
No,
so,
there's 1,000 attributes of Daniel. That's all that means.
They are distinct and eternal.
Yeah, they're distinct. Yeah, but it's still Daniel.
And in your mind,
it's still Daniel.
Oh wait. Sorry, it's still Daniel. So the attributes are still Allah.
No, the attributes of Daniel, these characteristics of Daniel, are Daniel. They're a part of me.
So in Allah's case,
it's still one Daniel.
You know how you used the word part just now.
It's still one Daniel. That's the point.
But
you're not going to get 1,000 Daniels just because I have 1,000 different characteristics that are immortal.
It's one Daniel made up of 1,000 things.
No, I have 1,000 different attributes, 1,000 different aspects, 1,000 different whatever. Oh, sorry.
No,
if you want to say parts, you're using part in this equivocal way. That's the thing.
But aspects insinuates parts. An aspect of me is a part of me that is not equal to the whole.
In the same way that me having the attribute of mercy or love doesn't mean that there's a part of me, like a part of my mind, that is the anger part or the mercy part or the love part.
Well, I'm not saying...
That's what we started with, remember?
I'm not trying to tell you to segment your mind, because don't forget, your mind is potentially infinite. It doesn't have any kind of concrete box around it, correct? So I'm not saying segment your mind into quadrants. I'm simply saying
what does it mean to be distinct?
Not the other. So in the same way that I am not you and you're not me.
Yes, because we have two separate minds.
We have two separate minds, but also a number
just
of other
like the
things.
Father, Son, and Spirit have separate minds according to Christian theology. That's why they're three distinct gods.
We can go into that
That's
now.
why it's polytheism.
We can go into that now, but just understand that by what you just said here, unfortunately, you are admitting that Allah is compartmentalized.
I don't think so.
And He has other things with Him that are also eternal.
In the same way that if I was immortal, I didn't die, imagine, and I have different characteristics, personality traits, that wouldn't mean that there are multiple Daniels. You haven't proven anything.
Personality traits.
Yeah, like anger, like mercy, like being loving, like being charitable, like being insightful, or whatever aspects of my personality that there are.
Right.
They're attributes of me.
Okay.
But one Daniel. If I was immortal, it doesn't change that there being one Daniel.
As long as the attributes themselves are also immortal, or eternal in this case.
Yeah, there would be.
Then they are the same as you because they're not distinct from you.
No, that's a jump. That's a leap.
So
why would they be the same as me?
So they're the same as you in that they're also eternal and immortal.
If I'm not immortal, they're distinct from me, right?
Think about it like, yes, they are. Because
then how does being immortal make them? So if I'm not immortal, I'm not immortal.
Yep.
My anger is distinct from me.
Yep.
We agree.
Yep.
Okay. But it's still one Daniel. Do we agree on that?
Absolutely. But
how does making me immortal suddenly make it multiple Daniels?
Because Allah, in the last case, He is necessary, correct? That He can't be any other way. He has to be Allah. Because without Him, there's no creation or existence.
You're arguing for divine simplicity. Divine simplicity is a position that some Muslims have, not all Muslims.
Yes.
You started by asking if I'm Salafi.
Yep.
Salafis do not hold the position of divine simplicity.
And that's why you have this problem.
No, there was no problem.
There is a problem.
There was no problem.
The problem still being, again, that your understanding of Allah causes necessary parts of Allah to exist. Meaning that either Allah is made up of things, meaning He's contingent,
He has different aspects, different attributes.
The aspects and the attributes have the qualities of Allah. So therefore you have Allah, who is the God of the universe, but also you have another God of the universe, Ar-Rahman, another God of the universe, Ar-Rahim.
Ar-Rahman, or the attributes of Allah do not have they don't
every attribute of Allah?
Yeah, exactly.
So then that means that your position then is that Allah is Allah because He is one, but then He has these attributes that when you add them all up, then you get Allah.
Why can't you address the example of me as a finite being having different attributes, but it not being a multiplicity?
Because Allah is very simple. Allah isn't finite; He's infinite, and you, as a creation of His, can be comfortably composites. It's okay to say that you're made up of parts.
No, but my mind is not composite in the way that you're describing.
But it's created, so it's not eternal.
How is that relevant? How's that relevant? Yeah, we should move on. This is a circle.
Well, again, I have made my position very, very clear. Unfortunately, because of your thinking, that is the case. However, you said you wanted to ask me a question about Trinity.
Well, I already explained that. You have the Father. Can the Father think that I am the Son?
So there's a couple of problems with that.
Answer. No. Can the Father think I am the Son? It should be a simple no.
Well, again, it depends. What makes you think that the Father has thoughts?
Oh, so God, according to you, doesn't have thoughts.
What makes you think He does? I don't think He does.
The Bible. The Bible is the expression God is speaking, right?
Right, but it is also...
So when God speaks, are those thoughts? Are they the expression of God's thoughts or not?
So we're having a bunch of problems here. The first one is...
Yeah, because you don't think that God thinks.
No,
has thoughts.
God does not think.
God does not think.
God is eternally in the presence.
Does God have a will?
God has a will.
Does God have knowledge?
God has knowledge, yes.
Okay, so God has... Does the Father have the knowledge that I am the Son?
Okay, so again...
Does God have the knowledge that I am the Son?
You're conflating a few things.
Why can't you say yes or no?
Because what is your definition of knowledge? We're using key terms here. See, again, right? So
a proposition, like the sky is blue.
Right.
That's knowledge.
Okay.
Water is wet. That is knowledge.
Okay.
I am Daniel. That is knowledge.
Okay.
I am the Son. That is a point of knowledge.
Okay.
Does God the Father have the point of knowledge that I am the Son?
I don't agree with your definition of knowledge because it creates issues, but even for God. With your definition, if at some stage the sky is blue, but then we go somewhere sandy and it's orange, what would Allah say the color of the sky is?
Yes, the sky can have multiple colors. Right, I can see that.
But if we ask Allah right now,
that doesn't contradict my definition of knowledge.
It does, because yours is dependent upon things occurring before they can be true. So
things can occur and there's still a point of knowledge. Things can change and there's still a part of knowledge.
If we asked Allah right now, what is the color of the sky? What would He say?
It depends on what the color is.
Right here is blue, but
God has the knowledge that the sky here is blue. Yes.
Okay, but if we asked Him what is the color of the sky on Earth, what would He say?
There's multiple different colors. If it's
Okay.
a nighttime, it's going to be black.
And-
if it's if there's a sandstorm, it's going to be orange. What's your point?
That's the problem with your
silly.
definition of knowledge. I would say
How's that problem? What's the problem?
the problem being that nothing is true. Well, if God knows all true things only in a propositional manner, then there are certain things that will be added to his knowledge later onwards. For example, in the future, if human beings can teleport, if we asked Allah right now, can human beings teleport? He would say no, because it is true that we can't. In the future,
Right now, yeah.
But in the future, if we can, then something gets added to Allah's knowledge
No.
that we can.
No, God has knowledge of the past, present, and future. It's all encompassed in God's knowledge.
But you
this
said-
is a ridiculous.
You said by
knowledge.
proposition.
Knowledge. Can you understand the expression "I am the Son"?
Okay.
Can you understand that?
Then-
Does that make sense?
To move on,
I am the Son. Does that make sense?
to move on one step further,
I am the Son. Does that make sense?
I would define
I am the
knowledge-
Son. If you're not going to answer,
No,
I'm going to walk
no,
away.
no, wait,
I'm
no.
going to walk away. I am the Son.
We're gonna
Does that
get
make
somewhere.
sense? Does that?
We're gonna get
Does that
somewhere.
sentence make sense?
It's
No,
ambiguous.
no, no.
It's
I am the
ambiguous.
Son is ambiguous.
Yes.
How?
What son of what? A person.
I am the Son of God.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Yes or no?
Okay.
Does that
Again,
make sense? Yes or
from a
no?
Christian point
does
of
that
view,
make
it
sense?
does.
Yes or no? Okay, you
From a
can't
point
answer
of
my
view,
question.
no,
I
from a
answered your
Christian-
questions.
wait,
You didn't answer
Daniel,
one question I asked you.
I
You
am
can't
going to
answer.
ask you a
I
question.
am the Son of
From
God.
a
Does
Christian
that make
point
sense?
of view, yes. Now, let me
Okay, yes,
tell
from
you
a
what
Christian-
I mean
are you
by
Christian?
knowledge. I absolutely, yes, I am.
So then it makes sense to you.
Yes.
I am the Son of God makes sense.
Okay.
That is a point of knowledge. Can the Father have the point of
We
knowledge
need
that
to
I am the Son of
agree.
God?
We
Can
need
the
to agree
Father
on knowledge.
can the Father have the thought I am the Son of God, or the point of knowledge that I am the Son of God? Yes or no?
Very simple.
Yes
as
or
this.
no?
The answer will
Yes
be
or no? The answer is no.
The answer is no because of this.
Okay. Can the
Knowledge-
Son have the point of
Daniel,
knowledge I am the Son of
Daniel,
God?
let me-
Can the Son have the point of
Daniel,
knowledge that I am the
let
Son
me.
of God? Yes or no?
Very simple.
Yes or no?
Knowledge
Yes or no? Can the
is
Son
possessing-
have the point of knowledge that I am the Son
Daniel,
of God?
let's not
Answer.
have this
Just
devolve.
answer the question.
Let's not make
You're
it
not
devolve.
answering the question.
I answered your question just
The
now,
Father,
Daniel. Then you
the
asked me a new
Father
one. Let me
cannot
clarify
have
why.
the point of knowledge I am the Son of God,
Daniel.
but the Son does have the point of knowledge that I am the Son of
Daniel,
God. That
let
means
me
they're two
clarify
distinct
why.
minds, and they're not.
Daniel,
they're 2 distinct
you're
persons.
running on a script. Let me tell you why.
You can't address the script. That's the
I am
problem.
going to.
That's the problem with
Allow
all
me.
Christian apologetics. You can't get around this
Daniel,
argument.
I literally want to.
Huh?
I want to get around this. Can you let me?
Go ahead.
Thank you, Daniel. For your first question, the reason I don't agree is because I don't agree that God only knows things propositionally. I would say, with like our same philosophy, for example, that knowledge is possessing an understanding of the form of a thing without becoming that thing. That is how God can know all things at all times without them becoming a thing. God can know all about a tree without becoming the tree. So,
Yes, I
in
agree.
the same way, with the Father can have knowledge that he is not the Son without becoming the Son, and vice versa with the Son. But if the Father only knew things in a positional manner, then at some stage in time, then he could say, okay, fine, well, maybe I can also become a turtle because now I know I can, because the opportunity has come to being.
If
So
the
that's the
Father,
answer.
if the Father had the point of knowledge that I am the Son of God, that would be false, because he's the Father, right?
Right.
If
But
the Son has the
you're
knowledge of
presupposing
I
something.
am the Son of God, that would be true.
Right. But
Therefore,
you're
they cannot both be
presupposing-
true at the same time.
you're
They're two
presupposing-
distinct minds.
Right. Here's the
Right.
problem.
Right. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
right as in you're correct, but I understand what you're saying. But this is the problem. You're presupposing that God only knows things from a propositional manner, which is problematic.
It has nothing to do with propositional knowledge.
Your argument would be God
It's
knows
a statement
all-
about
all
what
true
reality
things.
is. It's a statement about what reality is.
The Father,
I am the Son of God, you said, makes sense.
Yes.
It makes sense.
From a Christian
so
point of view.
if the Father says that I am the Son of God,
That
and he
would be
revealed that,
untrue.
it would be untrue,
Yes,
right?
because
But it's,
the Father
my point
is
is not
fully
about
aware
whether it's true or
that it's
untrue.
not.
It's about it's distinct. Because the same point of knowledge that the Son has, that I am the Son of God, would be true. If the Father said it, it's false. If the Son says it, it's true. So that's identity statements about the Father and the Son. There have to be two distinct persons.
And they are two distinct persons.
Two distinct minds. Exactly.
No, one mind.
The son is
But-
God.
okay.
What is the Father?
No, wait.
So if you put Son next to Father.
They're two distinct minds. That's the point.
What you're saying?
Let me
Clearly two distinct minds.
Hey, Assalamu alaikum. Hey, Assalamu alaikum.
Daniel. Okay, well,
Yeah, let's go because this is going in circles.
Okay, so-
Well, you made your point. I made my point.
okay, all right, well,
Yeah, appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
But your God has parts, unfortunately.
Yeah, your Trinity makes absolutely no sense.
It does?
Unfortunately.
If you read more into it.
Unfortunately.
Daniel,